All right, so given our current situation with social distancing measures being in place due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many home buyers and sellers are wondering if this is actually even a good time to buy or sell their home. And if so, what is the best way that this can be done as safely as possible? Well, the good news is that homes continue to be bought and sold every day. And we are getting this done through the use of many tools such as virtual open houses, 360-degree property tours, social distancing compliant home inspections and home appraisals, and the use of electronic signature platforms. Our efforts are always to keep ourselves as safe and our customers as safe as possible and as protected as possible. The one aspect of this transaction process that had remained a little bit tricky so far was the actual closing itself, which closings traditionally take place either at the Registry of Deeds or at the closing attorney's office. And typically they involve a bunch of people. So, not social distancing friendly at all. Anyway, that problem has been solved. And here today to tell us all about the new e-recording and e-notarization procedures in place is Attorney Rich Vetstein, who is founding partner of Vetstein Law Group out of Framingham and of counsel at Canner Law and Associates. Hi, Rich. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I'd love to hear all your updates about the virtualization of the legal paperwork component of the real estate transaction. So I turn it over to you.
Great. So once the COVID-19 crisis really came full bore, the real estate attorney community went right to the legislature, went to the governor, and we asked for a remote virtual notarization bill. It took about 30 plus days to get it through. There's a lot of, complexities that we had to deal with. And obviously it's not just going to be used by the real estate folks. It's also going to be used by anyone who's signing a legal document that needs notarization. So we had to involve the probate folks as well. But fortunately, we were able to come out with a bill that the governor just signed. I wouldn't say it's the most perfect bill in the world, but it's enough that we will probably be able to get through the COVID crisis with as contactless a process as we can. Because before we've been doing closings kind of like drive-through McDonald's style in a way.
I heard about those, yes, in the parking lots, right?
Yeah, parking lot. We had repurposed a building garage. People were doing it at Dunkin' Donuts parking lots. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just nuts. Yep. So now we have the ability to do the signing of documents via video conference. So it's Zoom, whether it's Zoom or FaceTime, the video conferences do need to be recorded. And essentially the process is going to go like this. The documents will need to be FedExed out to the borrower, seller in advance. And then you have a first video conference with the attorney, and then you'll go over all the documents, kind of like you would do sitting down and answer any questions. And the borrower would actually wet sign those documents, and you would do the same type
while they're on video call with you.
While they're on video, right. Mm-hmm. And you still, you ask them to verify that they're signing it freely and voluntarily, mm-hmm. Without coercion like you would with a normal closing. They also have to show you their driver's license, okay, front and back on the screen so you can verify their identity. Then they have to actually make a copy of the front and back of the license and send that.
And can they do that just with using their cell phone? Can they
Yes.
just snap it? Okay.
Yep, you can do that. That's fine.
Okay.
So then they'll actually initial and wet sign all the documents, and then we'll have a return FedEx envelope that they'll put the documents into. They would have to actually get to a FedEx drop box, drop it off.
Yeah.
Yep. They're should be one at every corner. Those are still active, the FedEx boxes, even though some FedEx locations are not active, but the boxes are still active.
Mm-hmm.
So then that the package comes back to the attorney, and you're supposed to do a second video conference where you pull out the same documents and you're just verifying these are the same ones that we went over yesterday. Yes, everything's all set. No one signed this, as an imposter. And then at that point, you, the attorney, can put your notary stamp on the documents, and you're essentially done. And those documents can then be recorded at the Registry of Deeds. We're still able to do electronic recording, so those will be able to be recorded. The attorney will have to do an affidavit, a special affidavit that we have to keep on file for actually 10 years. Okay. Now, here's the rub, though. Some lenders right now are not allowing for the virtual remote notarization, okay?
Why is that?
They are risk adverse and they don't want to. We're hearing that Guaranteed Rate is not allowing it.
Interesting.
And some others. So we're working on them for them to get with the program. Mm-hmm. But, a lot of these banks and lenders are just very risk adverse. So, but
Massachusetts is not the first state that implemented this e-notarization, right?
Nope.
So it's not like you're just making this up new out of the box.
No, and actually ours is one of the kind of more strictest remote notarizations, because we have the 2 video conferencing and we have the 10-year record keeping requirement. But no, you're preaching to the choir, Amna. I mean, we're on the phone with all these lenders, and it has to go up the chain. They have to deal with their investors, and it's and Fannie Mae has signed. Part of the process why it took so long is we had to get Fannie Mae to basically say this was okay, and they have. So I think eventually everyone will kind of come around once, and the consumer will help too. Consumer demand if they start complaining.
Yes.
So again, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that every transaction has the benefit.
I think you guys have done a phenomenal job. You've worked very hard, and this really was one of the last missing pieces in the link, because we got a lot of things remote and virtual. And so I'm really glad that we've come this far.
Yeah, me too.
And how many completely virtual or remote closings have you had so far, Rich?
Well, I've had none yet so far, because this literally just got signed on Friday. Actually,
okay.
Yeah. So, but I'm supposed to be doing one later this week, and I'm supposed to be doing a refi early next week. Again, the other issue is timing with the lender, because we need basically you need like a 48-hour window to send the docs in advance and all that, and sometimes you're not getting those the closing documents until the morning of the closing, and that by then so we're pushing the lenders to get those closing packages out as early as possible. And we're also dealing with the seller side, because there might be like a little lag in terms of getting things recorded the next day or getting the wires out. So everyone just needs to be patient. We all as a industry need to get on the same page that and it goes with all COVID stuff, is we're all trying to get the deal closed at the end of the day. We're trying to keep people safe. We're trying to keep people in their houses, not have to go outside and interface. And so if everyone can just be flexible and patient, we'll get it done.
Are you anticipating a lot of delays or hurdles with this new process getting put into place? Or do you think closings will happen as a matter of routine?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely going to be a learning curve that just in terms of, getting the lenders to get those documents, earlier than they typically do, and getting the sellers on board and just kind of figuring out the logistics with the FedEx. And, if a buyer misses a FedEx drop, you're you're in trouble. Stuff like that. So, there's going to be some bumps in the road, but we'll see over the next couple of weeks how things shake out. The refinances are going to be very easy. That's, this is tailor-made for refinances, because with refinances, you have to wait 3 days anyways under the right of rescission. So those are going to be great, very, very easy. But the purchases, there could be some hiccups along the way. So we're doing our best to figure this all out. This is all, brand new for us too. So
and do you think, once we are past the Corona era, do you think this is going to stay in place? Do you think it's the future of the way real estate transactions?
I hope so. I hope so. We've been pushing for this for 10 years. The act itself will expire once the state of emergency is lifted. But
I see.
We're hopeful that this will give us kind of a test run, and that the legislature will put it in on a more permanent basis. And obviously we can, there are issues we can kind of refine the legislation or improve it along the way. So I'm hopeful.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a move in the right direction, Rich. And in case anyone wants to reach out to you and ask further questions, or, get further clarification on the process, what is the best way that people can reach you?
Yeah, best way to reach me is via email. It's rvetstein@vetsteinlawgroup.com. So that's I'd rather not give my cell phone over
right.
But rvetstein@vetsteinlawgroup.com. If you want to know more about the law, I write a blog that's pretty popular, massrealestatelaw.blog.com, and we've been tracking all of the COVID-related legislation and legal developments that have been going on, which there have been quite a few, as you know.
Yes. And thank you so much again for your time today, Rich. Was there anything you wanted to add that I haven't asked you about or haven't thought of that might be helpful for people out there to know?
I don't think so. I think just people, this is the new normal, and everyone just needs to be patient and be flexible. We do have new COVID-19 addendums to the offers and the purchase and sale agreements. So basically we're kind of building in extensions in case people are impacted, whether it's, they get laid off, or they wind up in a quarantine, or God forbid they're positive and they wind up in the hospital or something like that, there's a safety valve in place for people. So, I don't think this is the time for parties or lawyers to be, clamping down on people. It's a time to be cooperative and flexible. And the goal is to, get deals done.
Yep. And I think, my experience so far has definitely been that people have been working together more and playing nicer, in the sandbox, basically, just because we're all working towards the same goal. And it is hard times. And thank you once again for your expertise and for always being there, Rich, with even the most difficult cases. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Yep. I'm happy to help. Thank you. And good luck.
You have a great day.
Stay safe, everyone.
You too. Bye-bye.